Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Jojo. How are you doing, Jojo?
I'm great. I'm loving life. Just got some Big Brother news. I know this is a Big Brother. I know this is a Survivor podcast, but US Weekly is reporting that I hope this isn't flipping. It's not.
No.
Derek and Claire are dating. We really connected in the jury house. Look at their couple photo, their official photo.
And I know she just went back to the Todrick house.
Yes.
Todrick's mansion, I mean. Wait, so does that mean they banged in the jury house?
So I guess they stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, the first 5 nights. And Derek was like, he said he knew the first week that he was into Claire, but it's a game. And he, wanted to concentrate on playing the game. And he said they really connected in the jury house, which is so sweet. And there was no mention of it anywhere on the show. I'm like, maybe they really kept it under wraps.
What about Hannah, though? Is Hannah heartbroken?
I mean, Hannah has been getting cozy with someone else from the Big Brother franchise. So,
Rohan?
I mean, they looked really cuddly to me, and I think he was into Hannah via some tweets that he was cryptically tweeting.
I wonder if they have the same background because her father is from India, if I'm not mistaken, and
Okay.
I believe his whole family might be. So I could be wrong. This is an assumption that I'm making, but wow! I mean,
Cute.
I have to say that the live feeds for after this season have been on fire. Like it's a really great after season.
23.5.
Yes, yeah. It's so good. So
Love
I'm
it.
happy to see that people are falling in love. I love everything that's going on in the Todrick house. I want to get on Big Brother Canada just so I can go and hang out with them in the Todrick's house. So
it'll still be happening. Yes,
let's make this happen.
It's the official, and I'm sure while Todrick's in the Celebrity Big Brother house, it'll still be happening.
You think that's official, or do you think that's
I think he's really gonna want to be in that house, isn't he? He's getting training right now from some of the best players.
Yeah, and he's a big fan. He's already done a lot of reality TV shows. Like we know that he's done
Drag Race,
American Idol. He's
American Idol, yeah.
Choreographer and host on Drag Race. And I'm sure he's probably done other things that we don't even know about. So I'd be here for it. See if you can go and bring back that crown.
Ooh. Oh, I'm okay with it. I want a female winner always, but I'm okay with Todrick winning.
I'm okay with Todrick winning if he's going in there to game and to win. Yes, exactly. But okay, we're not talking about Big Brother here today. We're talking about Survivor. And I have my opinions, but what are your overall thoughts of this episode?
Maybe my favorite episode of the season, besides the premiere. Like, incredible. Everything about it. It wasn't about advantages or the mysteries or it was just the story and the strategy and the people. And I loved every second. I usually watch the episodes twice, and I've only been able to watch it once. I'm watching it again tonight. I'm going to do it. I can't wait.
I started watching it a little bit again, but it might be an episode that I do watch a second time full through because I didn't see the game within the game. Did you catch where that was?
No.
I didn't see it at all.
That's it.
Yes, Adrian.
Yep, that's it.
Yes.
Snatching that vote extra.
Man, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but this was an episode, and you're 100% right. I love this episode because it went back to what we like about Survivor. And what's that? It's like putting people on a tribe that are all trying to win $1 million, and they're doing whatever it takes to make that happen.
Yes.
There you go. I didn't need to see somebody sneaking out of camp at night and go into some island to go and get a tarp. I don't need to see that. I need to see people that are doing things that they think that they need to do to stay in the game.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Simple as that.
Exactly. It's very basic. There was no, I mean, other than the fact that Shan got that steal a vote, other than that, there was nothing really to do with idols, no immunity idols, no big advantages, no saying silly phrases at the immunity challenge. Like, it was none of that. It was a pretty pure episode, and I loved every second of it. I was thoroughly entertained. So can't they just take a look at this and realize, like, oh, the people are enough?
You would think so. The only thing I'm really disappointed about is not getting a Xander confessional about Brad being voted out. Thinking back, because that would be something that I would be worried about if I was Xander. I would think, okay, that's out. I still don't have a vote. Cool.
See, they don't seem to be giving us any insight on the tribes that are winning.
Yeah.
So because they won that immunity challenge, I think that's why they didn't show anything about Yase.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. I mean, but maybe next week we will see what happened. It's just kind of paused. But I don't know why they couldn't have showed it, though. I mean, I would love to just have like an update, a little mini update of after tribal for each tribe. Like, why can't we start the episode like that?
Yeah, we need live feeds.
I want live feeds. I want an hour and a half episode if they can't seem to fit it in an hour. I feel like they could, but
give me 2 hours and like just give me a million commercials. That's fine.
I don't.
It's fine.
Hour and a half with commercials.
Then it'll actually be an hour and a half. We'll take that.
Adrian, I'm so jealous though that Chantele made it onto the screen because we have the same name or similar name, both from Toronto. I don't know if I would have a song that I'd be singing out there, but I mean, I'm happy that at least the world's favorite player bears my name.
Yes.
That's great.
And you can always be 2.0, whatever. You're with CH, not SH.
I know. I mean, I do spell it quite well. Yeah. Okay, so the game within the game was in tribal, I think, in front of the fire. In red, E in red for tricycle cable. I'd have to look at it. A red E, ready for tribal.
Ready for tribe.
Tribal
counts
case
for tricycle K.
I think it's ready for tribal counts. Ready for tribal, I think is what it must be.
Yeah.
Red tricycle. E for
ready.
Tricycle K.
Tricycle K.
Ready for tricycle cable.
Okay.
Ready. Oh, wait. Okay. The answer is ready for tribal. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
there it is.
I didn't do the game within the game part. We can maybe go through it right here. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see
it for Jonathan.
Get into it.
He loves it.
Right. That's true. That's true. Thank you, Adrian. I did miss it, but they're not very difficult, I found. But this episode was great. So in the beginning of the episode, Jeannie. So from our draft, Jeannie was not drafted to any of our teams. But she was a fun character this episode. I don't think she played well, but she made an impact. Who's this? Hey,
Jonathan, you're early.
I am early.
Good guy. You finished up early.
The only time in my life that I'll ever be early.
That's it. Never
well, it's great to have you. What did you think of the episode?
I liked it. There's something about the way that they edit things now that make it entertaining to me for some reason. Like, it's a little different, but it's very familiar at the same time. So, yeah, despite, whatever the outcome was, whatever, it was just still nice to watch. Things happened. I don't know. It moves along. Did you hate it or what?
No, we loved it. We thought it was the best episode of the season. So don't worry.
So lots happening.
So we started talking about the gossip from Big Brother US, and then we honestly, like, I literally just read the first sentence of the episode is that Jeannie was doing a bit too much at the beginning of this. She was mad and she's not cooking for them anymore. She's not doing anything for them anymore. No. And I want to know what you guys think. I felt it might have been a bad call for Shan to say, Jeannie, Brad was I was Brad's number one. He told me about an advantage that he didn't tell you, boo. Like, being all like, I was like, oh my God. And JD was able to hear this. Also, Ricard was able to hear this. You're both nodding your head. What do you guys think about how Jeannie was reacting to Brad being voted out, and B, how Shan reacted with like her responses?
I mean, I think Jeannie, you know, like she was being honest and felt like crap. She wasn't included in the plan. So of course you're going to be upset and think that you're on the bottom, and that's the assumptions that would be made automatically. I don't think it was a bad thing for Shan to be fully honest and like spit it out there. There was a lot of aggression going back and forth. I don't know how close Jeannie and Ricard are. Jeannie just voted out JD, you know, so she was probably not feeling the best. And I think Sean was trying to be honest with her and give her like a little hindsight, saying Brad wasn't that loyal to you if you didn't know about all this stuff going down. So I didn't mind it. I think you're allowed to like blow off some steam after tribal council and then wake up the next morning and regroup and go from there.
But we've seen people handle it much better, being like, oh,
Sure.
you know, guys, I just wish that, you know, I had known, I would have been okay with it. You know, people say things like that, stuff that, you know, most people would do when they come back in situations finding themselves on the bottom. I think, you know, whether that happens more often and we're not shown it, we were shown it this time because it played a pivotal part to the story, because we're painting the picture that she's on the bottom of that tribe, right?
Mhm.
And that was the picture to sell us kind of what happens at the end. So I understand the edit of that and why we saw that. Maybe it happens a lot more often than we realize. But I thought Shan was playing emotional, and I thought it was sloppy. I thought it was messy. There was just not this. There was a couple other things in the episode that happened, and I'm like, that's something that you could have said to Jeannie one-on-one, or it's something that you clearly, it was reactive, and I'm like, that's never good. If I want to be reactive, especially if I was in a game like that, I would have to like count to 100 or something before I actually said something, because I know that you're not thinking about it, and that could be a costly mistake. Yeah, I thought she was very emotional. She's just very reactive, and it was messy. So I hope she kind of gathers herself a bit more and doesn't continue along that path of being very kind of sloppy and messy with what she's doing.
Yeah, I agree with you here. Whoops, that's what I'm saying. But okay, who's Jelly Donut? Hi, Jelly Donut.
Hi, Jelly.
Now I'm hungry.
Jeannie is literally me. I'm hungry too. I want a jelly donut. Actually, I don't love jelly donuts, unfortunately. But if it was a French cruller, I'd be definitely into that.
Oh, I've got a honey cruller literally over there. It's in my bag. Yeah.
Well, jelly donut.
Work, but didn't eat it.
Oh, jealous. I'm jelly. That's what I am. I'm jelly of your jelly. But Adrian was saying here, I thought that Shan was doing a little bit too much, but it was entertaining. Though. Absolutely, it was entertaining. But for her doing too much, like JD is overhearing this and is annoyed that Shan now didn't tell him all the information about Brad, you know, sharing this advantage with her. And I'm just like, okay, JD, there's no reason for him to be her to be sharing Brad's information with you. And you literally weren't sharing the information, but you came out with it showing in your pants. And they're like, what's that? So it's a different scenario. But I was like, I was starting to get a little bit annoyed with JD for like thinking that he should have been told about this.
She made a good point with when she said, I think she should have made it like a little bit more clear and again, less reactive. But she was like, that was Brad's information that he told me in confidence. You know, she could have followed that up with like, if I had something to tell you about me, I would have, but that was Brad's business and not for me to tell. And she kind of said that, but I don't know if it landed on JD, but if she like, again, took him aside or just like focused on it and talked about it normally, but they were just, a lot of them just felt like they're popping off. And I kind of love it, obviously, to watch it. But I mean, again, she's in a good spot. Shan's in a good spot anyway. She's in the best spot of her tribe, I think. So she can be and get away with a little bit of sloppiness like that. But ultimately, I mean, that's not something you want to bring forward in the game. And I think she will play a little bit more carefully, especially with all the new people once they merge or switch tribes or something like that. So I'm not.
JD's super pissed. I mean, like, yeah, and I'd like that back. Just like JD, I mean, sweet kid. I know he was your number one draft. I'm sorry, Jonathan, that you did end up losing him. Sorry?
Said I lost one person. I'm not the first. And he was like the fifth their sixth person to be lost. So
no, absolutely, no. You're doing great. I know that you were worried about him last week, and so it's actually like pulled off the Band-Aid. JD's gone from your tribe now. And so, but the thing is though with him is that yes, he's entertaining. Yes, he's a super fan. Yes, he's going to make all these maybe crazy decisions, but unfortunately, his age really did get him voted out of the game.
Money.
I
Tribal.
cringe. I was like, this kid better not be saying money and not get it in. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, and he didn't get it in and they lose money? And then Shan right after commented on that. I was like, man.
It's like,
but yeah, he just like doesn't seem to know how to really assess the situation. He thinks he's in the know and knows everything that's going on, and he actually has no idea. And I do feel that Shan was just keeping him around because it would be easier to kind of control him or like tell him what he needs to know, and he won't really question anything. But he really got outplayed. Like he was really, I felt, in over his head. He didn't know what was going on in that game at all, and that he was just like being allowed to stay there because Shan decided that he should stay.
yeah. But some of these younger ones that are 20-ish who are on the show, and there's at least 3 of them that I know, but I would love to see them in like 10 years, play this season, see how it works out. Maybe they win, who knows? But then to see them like maybe return in like 10 years or something to see their real growth, because we do see growth with a lot of the younger ones from the past that return for like an all-star season, but they're usually like 24, 25, and then they return and they're like 34, 35, and they play a little different. But these ones feel like really youthful. And I know we've had an 18-year-old. I know we've had young before, but they haven't felt this young. They do all feel really young. And so I think
he feels very young to me.
Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of growth that could be had. So I'd be really interested in seeing them in the future to what if they're able to like calm down and kind of get it together a little bit. But yeah.
Well, it seems like the game that Jeff Probst wants to have is a younger game. I think I love the strategy and like people being able to maneuver themselves to the end of the game and winning. But it seems like Jeff wants plays, like idle plays and blindsides, and like that's what he wants. And I think that these young kids don't realize that it's actually about strategy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not about having idols and advantages.
Yeah.
I do like the casting because
it's good.
I like that there are people who won't win and you kind of know it. And I don't mind that.
Who Tiffany or Heather?
I mean,
speaking of, both had incredible edits this episode. How dare you? Great storytelling from both Heather and Tiffany.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Hi, Dolores.
Hi, Dolores. Hi, guys. Speaking of Shan, I'm having mixed emotions on Pastor, in my opinion, stealing an idol. Or it was a vote. Plus her not wanting to be a villain, but wants to be an assassin hit me indifferent. I'm going to say about the Pastor thing that, what about like, the Robin Hood, steal from the rich to give to the poor? I feel as though Shan, if she were to win, she would do well with the money. And I think that she would use it for good. And so this is her vehicle to get there. So I think she's choosing to put maybe morals that would be regarded in a certain way outside of the game and outside of the show aside. And she's leaving them to play this game so she can win a lot of money that could help many people in her life.
Sure.
What do you guys think?
It's a game and everyone knows it. And this is what you do in this game. You deceive, you lie, you have to, everyone knew what they're signing up for. And I don't think she was doing anything that's like immoral or just, totally off and being crazy.
She's not going out of her way to do too much to
nothing malicious or anything like that. So I mean,
if given the opportunity to play as a villain, you better believe that should go down. If you're a gamer and you know the game and you want to play it that way, go for it. Why not?
Jelly Donut is making Shan's soundtrack her ringtone. Yes, I love the hum. It's very fun. The producers and the editors are probably like, "Oh my god, gold! Thank you, Shan. Thank you," because it's very helpful in this telling this story, at least this episode and the episode where it first was introduced. So I love that. Jonathan, how did you feel about finally getting a reward challenge? How was this for you?
I was like, when it happened, I was like, let me rewind for a second. I'm like, there's not, this is
it was
reward,
early.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was like second
happening.
scene.
I'm like, oh, and you know what I was missing? And I'm like, I'm missing just seeing people compete without me at the edge of my seat, because I really don't care who wins it. It's just about enjoying it. Whereas like immunity, I'm like stressed out for immunity and I'm like worried for people. So this was just nice to see. And I mean, sort of, because because Heather took over, and it wasn't about like who was winning and who was going to get the blue fish. What kind of fish was that? But it was about, that looked like toxic. But anyway, it was about kind of, just the competition. So I'm looking forward to potentially there being more that aren't focused on a team that really can't get off the starting line because of one person. But yeah, loved it. Loved the whole thing that happened. It was all great. And I loved Danny comforting Heather and all that whole thing around it. It was great.
Well, I also had to do a rewind because first of all, I was like, the reward challenge is just a fish. And so like I rewound it again and be like, oh, sorry, there's also a Fijian expert that is going to be the winning tribe. And like the second winningest tribe was going to get a fish to share. And I was like, I was surprised to see a reward challenge. I was like, is it reward and immunity? And like, no, it's reward. I'm like, awesome. I agree with you that I like seeing different stakes that allowing people to compete together as a team. Look at all this humanity that came out of seeing these people.
Look how much story came out of it. I mean, there you go, right? So,
and Jeff, even at the end, he's special. He's a special human being. Was being like, this is why we do Survivor, is because moments like this where you can see the vulnerability. And I'm like, yeah, Jeff.
Shut up.
But like, why are you putting in the beware advantage then? Like, if you want moments like this, Jeff. So yes, with this challenge, you're right, Jonathan. Team Blue didn't even get off the mat, so we can see that Heather literally has been an anchor on their team, and they've been lucky that they've been able to sit her out without having a reward challenge where two people back to back can't sit out. And so I thought that was very telling, that it's like, okay, it's been beneficial for them to have more players because then they can sit out their, in this case, weakest link. I felt so bad for Heather though, because I know that she was trying. It was out of her capabilities to be able to get that ball rolling down that ramp and then also quickly climb through that obstacle. So I felt bad for her.
I felt really bad as well, but at the same time, Heather's not 52. The 52 is not old. I mean, like she looks like she's at least 10 to 15 years older than that. My mother is in her 50s, older than 52, but in her 50s, and looks 15 years younger than Heather. So, and the physicality to it, I was just like, I've seen older contestants, not in the best shape, kill it as comparatively. So I know, I mean, I don't want to, again, it's not within her strengths, fine, whatever. Absolutely. I felt bad for her, absolutely. But I was just sitting there and being like, how are you 52? I'm like, it just feels like a fake age. Like, it doesn't seem real. She feels a lot older. I don't know, but it was interesting.
Jojo, this is your girl. How'd you feel?
I didn't feel bad for her at all.
No,
I didn't.
You're
I did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the savage Jojo. This is like your number one draft pick.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't look good when they're not. It seems like they're not going to be doing a merge. I think I heard that Jeff said that there's not. I mean, a swap. I think I heard there's not going to be any swaps. So like, this is very dangerous territory to stand out like this and not be able to perform.
But who was clapping and cheering for Heather at the end of the challenge? Every
Tiff.
single,
team.
not even just the player, her teammates, every player playing. And to me, her confessionals, I will not be surprised if Heather gets it to the end.
I don't know if they'll let that happen now because
She's got a brain. They're down what? 3 to 4 to 6?
Yeah.
You can sit some people out.
But if they do lose, and I know they tried and they couldn't, but if they do lose, then Sydney wants her gone.
Or Erica.
There's a lot of people, but there's a lot of people going back and forth, and I know the whole Erica thing came up as well. Yeah. But they might just settle on like, you know what? Let's keep the peace for a second. Let's just get rid of the person who is going to make us lose again if we keep them potentially. So I don't know. She's an easy choice, which they might keep around, and she might be dragged to the end. I don't know, but
she might do the dragon. I think Heather is a smarter player than we have seen yet.
But the dreams, like, there was no reason to even start that. Like, why are you targeting people when you're not losing by coming up and making up stories?
Boredom. They're bored.
They want to get to tribal.
So blue team loses. Heather does have her moment where she just felt like, she felt bad that she let her team down, and everybody came around and really made her feel good about the fact that she never stopped and she always tried. So it was a nice moment. Absolutely. I was feeling terrible for Heather, 100%. But I thought that was like a nice moment that was built into this episode. So Yua wins first. And so they're going to have the Fijian man or expert go over and help them with, feeding themselves off the land. I was impressed by Tiffany landing. I think it was 3 of those balls. I think they say those are the ones where you have to hit through the ball and land it on like the ledge, right?
Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah.
Impressive. At least 3 she got up there. So that was pretty good.
She says she's a competitor.
Tiffany's becoming like comp queen over here. I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Okay, right. Tiff. Yeah.
Okay, Tiff is right. I was impressed. And then the second tribe that won was Yase. No. Yeah, Yase, the second, right? With Tiffany winning it for them, basically. So I loved also like Yase when they're back at their tribe, just reenacting their whole journey and like
that previously on.
Exactly. It was perfect. So fun. I love that they are fans enough to know what most likely the editors are going to do. And then whether the editors were going to do that or not, the fact that the editors do go and do that, it's always my favorite. When people are like, oh my God, it's going to be a crying montage. And then it's a crying montage. Like I love when, I don't know who decides to do it or not. I think it's fun. Yeah. Jonathan, you liked it too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was good. And it was stuff like that. That is what makes it feel almost like that kind of editing in this episode just made it feel like it was like newer for some reason. Like just this whole season is like more entertaining. Lots of things are happening. And yeah, I very much enjoyed it.
Do we need to know about the turtles though? I mean, they're very cute, but I was just kind of like,
maybe that's foreshadowing of some kind.
Curious.
I love that. I was like, it took me a second. I'm like, you're protected, right? I was like, you're not going to try to eat them. Like they tell them what they can and cannot kill, right?
Oh God, I was not hoping that was going to be part of the storyline, that they're going to like be like
they just have fish though too,
so like almost extinct kind of a situation. So I'm sure they go through and tell them that they're not allowed touching them.
Yeah, I'd say those are mutant Ninja Turtles. Let me eat them. They're teenage now.
I would be on the beach helping them.
Yeah,
I feel like. When was the last time I saw this? Was it on like 90210 when they had like mating turtles as part of an episode? Like I feel like it was like The Hills or 90210 or something, some California reality show where they talked about this. Anyways,
love it.
I was hoping that they were going to eat them because that would be
they're probably not even allowed touching them, so they're probably able to like watch and not touch. Yeah,
very good. So they have Nathan go and help them, and Nathan is like Spider-Man. Upside down on the tree, pulling down coconuts, cooking food for them. Like I was very impressed by Nathan. And now they don't need necessarily, what's her name? Jeannie. So Jeannie might have lost her importance in the tribe. Were you I guess none of us drafted her, but any of you guys worried about Jeannie here? Like, A, she had a little bit of a pop off, and then B, now people know how to survive without her.
No, they were laying it on way too thick, and I caught on right from the beginning. As soon as that, with the opening of her coming back and popping off, I was like, hmm. And then when they hinted towards it as it was going along, I was like, Jeannie's safe.
She's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm like, there's no way that that's the story and that's what happens unless it's a 2-hour show. I mean, like 2-episode show. If they do that back to back, then the first one's usually a dud, and it's like what you expected, and it wasn't. So I was like, Jeannie's gonna be safe no matter what. So it was just interesting finding like out the story, but I kind of knew the end. Yeah. I'm not worried for her.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I was thinking like, this is too predictable. Yeah. So I was wondering if like, are they going to go to tribal and she's going to play the shot in the dark? Like, I didn't think that she was going to be going home. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out though.
I was hoping for a shot in the dark and then getting it and then being like safe that way. I was like, oh, maybe that's going to happen and that's what's going to save her. So
well, I wonder if like the shot in the darks are weighted and that if you roll the shot in the dark, you get that idol, because like, what a dud would it be to be like, okay, don't have a vote. This is my only shot to stay in the game. Shot in the dark, done. Voted out, no vote. Bye.
Well, I also just don't know if anyone's gonna play it like until they're merged, because I feel like you have to like be a dead man walking in order to like want to play it. You know what I mean? So I think it has more of an effect on, because it's there, whether or not people play it. It's people know that they have to blindside people or else they have a 1 in 6 chance of using it and staying. So it's more of the threat of it more than actually it being played.
I don't think that anybody's going to really get a chance to play it, because everybody's going to make sure that people are blindsided, right? Like, I wouldn't be like, sorry, you're going to go. Like, you'd be like, okay, well, if they think that they're going to go, they're going to use their shot in the dark. And that means any of one of us could be out. So we have to have a misdirect here, and we have to make it look like it's somebody else, so somebody else can play their shot in the dark and we vote out the person that we want. So it's basically going to be like a split vote type deal. They're going to game it in a second. Like, it's not that challenging of a twist for them to be able to maneuver around. I don't really see that shot in the dark being played successfully this entire season. It's impossible. Not impossible, but very challenging.
I mean, but again, though, I don't think it's wasted, because I do think it's what it's forcing other people, how it's forcing them to play with, again, the fact that you have to really sell that, make people think that they're safe. So you're seeing it come about in other ways, not really just actually rolling it and landing on that number. So, so I don't mind it at all. Even if it's never used, even if it's never won, I don't think it's a waste, because it's changing how people are playing because of the threat of it. So.
And I want to know how though they're going to do it, because if you could hear somebody like rolling that die, like, okay, come on, here we go, like people are going to be like, okay, they played the shot in the dark, like it's not going to be a secret. So what are they going to do? Is it going to be just production being like deciding whether or not they get it or not? Like, how, I want to know how that they plan on working that out.
Maybe it's far enough away that they can't hear this season.
I don't know. It sounds like it's like in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like around the corner that you'd be able to hear the roll. Which I think would be hilarious if like they didn't think about that.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's really noisy.
Drop the die and it like rolls back
back to your seat. You're like, oh no, it went down. It went through the bridge.
So the other coming out party for this episode was Erica, and I think for all the wrong reasons. Ooh. Erica, a girl, what is happening? Why are you? I mean, I think she's just getting restless.
Too. You were just saying all these nice things about Erica, and then Erica goes and starts
takes her game.
I don't know. Like, there's still only 6 people on this tribe. The people that I feel will be loyal to one another are Danny and Deshawn. Then you have Sydney, who I think is hooked up with Deshawn. I don't know if that's a trio. Nasir, Heather, and Erica could easily become a trio. I think there's still room here and there. I don't know, like, I don't know who well, that's the thing. We don't know who, like, would actually be the target if they headed to tribal.
I was interested in, because I'm like, if there's like a 3-3 situation, so why are they so eager to lose? Like, do they think that they have Nasir, who they were going to get rid of, or like who's their fourth? Like, do they think that they have Heather, or do they think that they have, like, if they want to get rid of Erica, is what I'm saying, like, who, there's only 3 of them, and then there's the other 3, so it could be an easy, like, a split. So for them to like want to throw the challenge, I was like, why are you so sure that you have the majority of the votes?
Well, I think it's because Erica would be completely blindsided, and so they wouldn't. It wouldn't work unless she knew of that she was going to be voted out. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't necessarily even matter if the other 2 didn't know about it, because they could make that vote be a 3-2-1.
Well, if the other 2 were like, if Erica's like, I'm voting for Sydney, and then the other 2 are like, okay, we're gonna vote for Sydney too. Even if Danny and Deshawn say like, oh no, actually we're voting out Erica, and they're not down for it, the other 2 can just vote with her and then make a split. And then what? You know what I mean? So I don't think it was just like, it's not like a for sure thing. It's not like you have a core 4 of you and and then you like for certain can like decide. It was a little too iffy for me, but I understood it completely. Like, going to Deshawn made perfect sense. Going to merge 6 strong, you will get picked off. They will be like, boom, boom, boom. Let's all, get together. And so I did get that. I understood that. I get the logic behind it.
My whole issue is Erica was in a decent spot, right? So she was valued by her tribe. For the fact that she seems to be very good at puzzles. She seemed to be liked by her tribe. She seemed to be receiving information from, even Sydney was including her when Nasir was talking about Danny. So like, it seemed like she's part of the tribe for the most part. She's not on the outs. And they haven't lost yet for her to start gaming. I understand being restless, not going to tribal makes you feel as though like you need to do something, because like it's just too easy. Like something must be going on. I need to get something happening. So I understand that restlessness about being the winningest tribe, but the fact that she didn't realize that Deshawn was more with Sydney than he was with you is, I think, a big misstep. And whether or not they were able to get her out or not, they don't trust her. And so she's not going to be included in anything if there is a merge. And so I feel like they can easily get everybody else to turn on her when the merge comes, because it would be anybody but me. And let's take out the number of one of these blue people. I just think that it's very easy for them to have her be the target if the merge does come. And I think that she left herself wide open for that. And it was for somebody that, go ahead.
She wasn't even on Sydney's radar. And like when Deshawn asked her, she was like,
her name was the last one, Sydney said.
And so it was like, I'm like, you literally just made yourself, number 1 kind of on Sydney's like hit list. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that alone just proves that it was a misstep for sure. Because you can't, it's like, it's just ridiculous. I was like you said, you haven't lost yet. What are you doing? Those are types of moves that you have to make at the last seconds when people aren't thinking, they're scrambling. Maybe they're worried about their own safety, and you actually did lose, and you're like, hey, how about we do this instead and get rid of a strong player or something like that, or whatever. And not before.
You have to also let people come to you with the plan. Like Deshawn, people come to him with the information, with the plans. Look at Evie just like laying it all out to Deshawn. Now Erica's like, oh, this is what I plan on doing. Like, everybody's talking to Deshawn, so he can choose to do whatever he wants with this information. I thought that it was a terrible move on her part to turn on her tribe before she even needed to. It just looks very disloyal. It looks like, oh, I can't work with that person anymore. I don't trust that person. Wouldn't throw me under the bus when come to a merge. Okay, that's next chance we get. We got to get her out. I don't agree with throwing any challenges ever. So I thought that was a misstep in strategy when Deshawn was talking about it. I didn't even think that they should have tried. Like, I thought they should have maybe like just know that Erica isn't great, but continue to win.
It was funny though during the challenge watching them, because like it did look like they were going like super slow on purpose. And then to see some people like swim in the wrong way, or like, just like
yeah,
it was a good edit on that.
The immunity challenge. So that happens. And so the original for the reward challenge, the Seer and Erica sat out. So that means the Seer and Erica were going to be participating. And then Sydney and Heather sat out of the immunity. So it was still pretty stacked, but Deshaun really still wanted to throw this challenge. So he was going at a snail's pace. At one point, he was retying knots instead of untying them. He was trying to do everything to slow down this tribe. And like you said, Jonathan, like the other tribes were not doing well at all, that these people were trying to throw it and they still couldn't lose. So there was a final part at the end where they had to do a ring toss, which is quite challenging, like a rope ring toss onto like a board or whatever, a rack. And Deshaun starts off doing it really badly, doing like this like terrible underhand throw, which is just like embarrassing. I'm like, Deshaun, like this is embarrassing for your legacy. Like it's just like
quit trying to throw it that badly.
And look at Nasir come in, try to just power through the whole challenge. Like it feels like I'll do this whole thing myself.
he beat 2 other tribes.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely
one other tribe.
One. They came in second. And that's when we got that amazing money flop. Luvu wins, and then you exactly, Adrian. Just like Shan said,
Tribal.
He should have said tribal. Tribal, so bad. So I mean, I was so annoyed with them trying to throw this challenge that I was so happy that they were forced to win, because I wanted them to rethink this out a little bit more. Like, you never want to lose. Just don't lose. At least when you're losing, you get to pick and choose who you sit out or whatnot. Yeah. Like, you never know what is going to happen in this game. So keep your numbers until you have to lose somebody.
Yeah, the problem is, though, I agree, and I would do the same thing. I just wouldn't lose. But when you realize you're really at the top of that tribe with a core, you're like, look, if we go in as 6 strong, they're going to realize the other ones are on the bottom, and I'm part of this core, and they're going to target us before they target anyone else.
That's true.
So I would have a really serious consideration of getting rid of a person when you have other tribes down by multiple members at this point. I don't know. I might be persuaded to do it. I feel like I was like I would have been like a Danny, like not wanting to do it. And then like Danny didn't throw it like Deshaun did. I feel like he was still, as he was kind of throwing it, he was like on the fence with it, like probably secretly still wanted to win, but I probably would have been like that. So I get it. And I think it's probably the smarter move, but it's when you're in their position. I mean, not, if you're like Heather or Nasir or whatever, like absolutely they should be trying to win. But it's it was fun.
They do have a chance though to go into, if they do end up merging at 12, they do have the chance of merging fully intact with 6 against 6. So for one vote, if you can convince other people that things aren't the best around here and I might be at the bottom of the 6, but for this one vote, when we merge, we should target that other person, because that's an easy vote for. Let's get rid of Xander. Let's get rid of whoever. You can pick and choose at that point. So I think if you're that close to a merge with 6 people still intact, try and hold on to the numbers. In my opinion, I try and hold on to them.
And also, though, like Deshaun should have picked up that Erica's not coming for him. So like this is a person that's willing to give him information, willing to want to work with them on votes. I would just have kept this information to myself. I wouldn't have voted out Sydney. Like that wouldn't have been what would happen, I don't think. But I don't know if I would have spread that information yet, just because like Erica could be a valuable member. What if there's some sort of like weird twist where Erica's going to have to make a decision of something? You know what I mean? Like you never know what people in the game is going to happen in the game, especially because it's a new era, blah, blah, blah. So I think that he should have kept that information to himself. And then if they did happen to go to tribal, that maybe then that would be the pitch to get rid of Erica. But I do think it's too soon.
But it does test, okay, let's tell Sydney, and if this comes back any which way, then I know that I can't trust Sydney, and sure, let's get rid of her then. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it was a way to test his connection with the people that he has that are closest to him and build on that. So I didn't mind that as much.
I truly think the person that's in the most danger in that tribe is Sydney. We've had Erica and Nasir both talk about her negatively in the tribe, and we know from the secret scene about Heather. But on the show, we've seen Erica, Nasir talking about how she's a double agent. He's spoken to her, and she's kind of ratted out what has been said. So those are still three people that I say could vote together or convince Danny, like, hey, Danny, if we want to be 5 strong, let's do it this way.
Sydney's really protected by Danny and Deshawn, I believe.
Deshawn, I believe for sure, but I don't know her relationship with Danny.
I think she is. She's lucky that she is like, I think she's polarizing is what it is. It's like people just don't like her and don't connect, or they respect, because Deshawn was talking her up at like, and saying really good things. So, I mean, I think she's one of those people.
Yeah.
And
I wish I could see more of this because I want to know why they're not necessarily liking her. I feel like this would be entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah.
The title of the episode was hers, right? So it's like that cocky kind of attitude, and the fact that she was just like she like threw down the flint when she couldn't make the fire and swing off. Like
out of here.
Seemed to instigate Erica talking about like, look how emotionally irrational she is. Like we can't trust that. That seemed as the instigator for it. So I mean, I would just think it's funny, and like that's someone who's probably going to go before I would. I wouldn't be like, oh, they need to be targeted, unless I didn't trust that they wouldn't flip or whatever. But I don't know. I just don't think she's connecting with them.
Yeah.
I want to see that more though, because I'm just like, just suck it up. Like you're on a winning tribe right now. Like, so she had a little bit of a tantrum for not being able to make fire. Like she's on Survivor. You want to be able to do well, be successful, and just be frustrating. I could see myself maybe throwing a little tantrum for not being able to making fire. Not really, but like maybe
in the moment, you never know.
If someone did that, I would think it was really funny and just enjoy it. And be like, you okay? Like,
don't worry, we got this. Like, you can try again later.
But I also think like no one's ever going to vote for them to win $1 million. So come on, Sydney.
Yeah.
Let's go to the end. Let's do this.
I agree.
So Dolores says it doesn't seem like all super fans end up making really wild, outrageous decisions. It seems like they're playing for the audience and not for themselves. If we're talking about JD, I just don't think he's just playing for himself. I think he's playing for like, I'm on Survivor, I do this, I'm being like my people that I love. I think the like the little humming, I do think that is for the audience. But it's fabulous. So she can play to the audience as much as she wants, because I think that is a great soundbite that we get to have as part of the Survivor lexicon of like epicness.
Yeah, confessionals are different too than like outright gameplay in front of an entire tribe. So I feel like what we see as the audience, yeah, like you can cater to that. You're sitting down and talking to a producer and explaining what's going on and your thought process and throwing in a little entertainment while you can. So I personally like it if you're aware that you're doing it. But it's also funny when people aren't aware of it and they're just talking out of their butts.
And also, though, I know that even in casting, they always want people that will have great confessionals. So I'm sure that it's encouraged for them to play up these type of things in order for them to have entertaining things to piece together. They want to have storytellers in these confessionals. And if that means that because they are super fans of the show, that their storytelling is appealing to the people watching, the other super fans, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it.
I don't love super fans on shows because I just feel like it's overthought. It does seem like a lot of people, like they do. Some of them do play into it and are aware of their audience and is like playing into that to be a character. Yeah, I don't love that. So I don't think that all super fans are like that, but I do think that a good deal of them are. So I like when they cast outside of that. And
so do you find anybody on the show right now that's a super fan that's playing up?
no, I don't. I don't mind it at all. Like Big Brother, a lot of that happens. This season of Survivor, no, I don't really see it. There's no one that's aggravating me, or I think they're making moves to make moves. Like
Yeah,
really,
I
like
don't like making moves to make moves.
yeah, like
No,
the
I don't
Russell
mind
is
playing up.
like that. Like that's very Russell-y. Like I'm gonna do this just to like blah blah, and that's playing to like your audience and trying to make yourself something. And although I can enjoy some of that, it's not my kind of like what I like the most. So I just like people being all over the place because that's who they are.
Yes,
And I feel like we have a good mix of that. So I enjoy it.
I agree. JD is younger than the actual show. I know. Jelly Donut. I remember where I was. I was at a bar. It was a Wednesday night. It was salsa night at the bar that I worked at, and I was sitting on the stool, and I saw I think I saw the beginning of it while I was working, and yes, and then I think I went home and I watched it, or I watched it after, but like I remember specifically, like I was an adult that's allowed in bars.
Yeah.
When I saw this, just saying. So yes, he is a
I
youngin.
but
Yeah, you're younger than JD. You're still in diapers. I could go on a whole rant about propes in production, Jelly Donut. I mean, we should one time maybe just do that as a show.
Yeah.
Slash, maybe
No,
we'll never get cast.
I'm not saying that I want Jeff replaced. I'm just thinking they should have an additional, like a comedian or something with like a sassy comedian or something with him who can like call out stuff. You know what I mean? Just that kind of like whole like epic vibe that Jeff gives off is too much for me.
You know what I want? I think you could be wrong, but remember when in Island of the Idols where we had Boston Rob and Sandra like in the back, like huddled together commenting on the tribal?
Commentary was cute.
Yeah,
I want that.
More like that, something like that, like some secondary.
Imagine every episode a former Survivor like player, winners, whatever, are just like commenting on tribal to the audience. Dead. I'd love that.
It's like that Google Box show. Have either of you ever watched it? So I auditioned for it, like the Canadian version, a couple of years ago, and it's huge in the UK. And it's just a camera watching people watch TV. So it's like just a reaction show, and they use like the same cast members, and people sit down, like they're like eating and drinking, and they just comment on, and like in the corner is like what's happening on the show, and it's just people watching the show.
Version of that.
Yeah, that's happening now. Yeah,
like a bunch of people. Yeah, I saw that.
I think Graham Norton and Michelle Visage just did an ad for it, but my old roommate Steph and I, we auditioned for it many moons ago, and we were so excited. I had red hair at the time. We were two gingers. I was like, we're doing this, like we're getting cast, and we were convinced because they were like, we love you guys. We're like, yeah, we're the best. I guess you don't want us. Perfect. Great.
Ew. Well, I don't know the show.
It's a great show though.
Perfect.
Google Box.
I'll look it up.
Cool.
So Agent says, yes, as a 19-year-old, I feel the players who are considered the baby of the seasons could have their age be either an advantage or disadvantage. Depends on the maturity level that they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the point is, though, is I think that because JD in particular is so young that he didn't see that he was being outplayed. I don't think that she was particularly slick to get outplayed in this situation.
Yeah, JD just felt like he was like 14. Like who's the 18-year-old? Michael Jagger, is that his name? Or
his Instagram.
Wasn't he 18? He was 18, right?
His Twitter is out of control.
I mean, and he lied about his age. He didn't feel like he was 18. But you have JD who feels like he's like 12, or like he's just like at Disneyland or something.
15.
So playing a video game.
It's a very different and interesting to have someone with different maturity levels beyond there. But that's why I like it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 19, I was doing lots of things. I don't know if I would have come across as that young, but we always think that we're more adult when we're younger than we actually are. So just lastly, so back at camp, we see Janie. She's planning on rolling the die. It looks as though JD was talking to her and like that he was going to do a flip on Shan, and I was like, whoa. okay, like that's what I was worried about with her having that outburst at the beginning of the episode. I was like, that would, if I was JD, it would have set me off to be like, I can't trust Shan. Like, she's keeping all this information from me. Everybody trust her. Like, she's in so much power here. Let's go for her. Let's flip the vote on her or something. So I was worried about that. And when I saw that walk and talk, I was like, uh-oh, like, is JD going to do it? But no, he was just gassing up Jeannie. What did you think of this gameplay, Handsome?
I mean, for me, I was like, I really appreciated when JD was acknowledging the fact that I'm not going to be that person who, when he was talking to Shan about kind of not bringing his reward or advantage to tribal, and he's like, I'm not going to be that person because I don't want to leave it back at base camp because, like, that's stupid, right? And I was like, oh, good for you. But then he's like, oh, wait, here you go. I'll give it to you again for the second time in a row. I'm like, if someone's asking you to do that, JD, you have to realize that that's not your connection with them. Sever, because it needs to, like, you can't trust someone who keeps asking you for stuff like that, regardless of them giving it back to you or not. There's a huge issue with that. So, I mean, he was like aware of some elements that were, not smart and yet very naive in other places. So I was like, oh God, it was frustrating.
Yeah, let's face it, JD had the power of this tribal. He could have easily gone to Jeannie and said, let's get rid of Ricard. Simple as that. The two of us can say that we're the decoy. I have this extra vote. Here it is. This is what I want to do with you. You feel at the bottom. I feel at the bottom.
100%.
Let's get some
So it
power.
would have been 2-2 though. So how would that have worked out?
Would have been 3-2.
How would have been 3-2?
He shouldn't have given Shan.
His vote.
Yeah, his
taken
2
away
votes.
Shan's vote, I guess. Okay.
And kept Shan.
Or whatever.
So that he can still say, hey, Shan, I did not get rid of you. I got rid of your number one, but I want to be your number one. That was his time to take control of the game.
That was the move to make for 100%. And instead of playing this whole, I'll give you whatever you want. No, that was what you needed to do last time because you were caught. But this time you need to be like, take the power, own it. And it was a shame that wasn't put into motion. So
well, and it's because I think he was outplayed. He thought that Shan was playing scared and being emotional, and he thinks that this is going to show trust and build trust between him and Shan. I was like, the fact that she's asking you to do this shows distrust, and she even says, "Thank you for trusting me, not trusting you." Like, she even realized how dumb it was for him to be giving her his advantage to show her that she could trust him. Like,
and
no,
she was acting super shady. Like, it was like, I'm not buying that. Yeah, it was like really sketch.
Loved it.
Like, as soon as that happened, I'd be like, okay, so she's planning on voting me out. That's what I'd be thinking in my head. like yeah. But he was just under the guise that she was just playing scared, and that there's no way that she would be so savage to like vote him out. And I thought she should have voted him out last, or I was on the fence of whether she should have voted him out last week. Like, I wasn't sure. But when he did that a second time around, I was like, he's got to go. He's got to go. Poor guy.
Yeah.
So she does mention that JD's like a little brother to her. And I think this is like building up the tribal council scene. I didn't see the puzzle, the game within the game. Did you see it, Jonathan? We didn't talk about it already, but you saw it. What does the K mean in it? I know it's ready for tribal, but I didn't understand the K.
Is that considered a trike?
Oh, tricycle. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Trike.
But where's the B?
Try. Oh, without the K.
Trike. K. So try.
Yeah.
Negative.
Oh, and then
it was
ball?
negative
Was it
K.
ball?
Yeah, ball. So it was the red. It was
Try.
Ready for, and then the trike minus the K.
The minus. There it is.
Right at the tribal.
If I was spelling trike, I would spell it TRYKE probably. Is it TRIKE? Is that how you'd spell trike?
I don't know. I was like, ready for tricycle without the K. I'm like, oh, that's ready for
tribal. Why is
like,
the K there?
Trike? I'm like, why is the K there? That's what I was coming up with. I'm like, in the US, do they call those trikes, like tricycles? Is that a thing? I don't know. Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Let me.
I guess Google. It's a trike.
Us Canadians, we don't know.
I would spell trike though with like Tryke. So I wouldn't spell it Trike at all.
Trike,
Yes.
correct. That's what they are called. They're trikes right here on my phone. And so
this is a Mandela effect because like I've never heard of it being called like in like Amazon a trike. Like
trikes.
I can't say this is a Mandela effect.
Maybe because it's for the children. They know. They're like, that's my trike.
Well, subconscious, I knew it somewhere, but I've never referred to it. And in all the scripts that I read for work, I've never seen that in there before either. So, but subconsciously it was there somewhere because I was like, oh, trike, right?
I mean, I could maybe say it as a nickname for a tricycle, but like I didn't know it was like a real word. Hilarious. Okay. Well, trike, so tribal. Ready for tribal. I didn't look at the game within the game, but we'll do a couple next week instead.
Yeah, I haven't done it either.
So at tribal council, they have the regular like talking back and forth. And I could tell even in the tribal that Shan was voting out JD because she looked sad, in my opinion. And Jeannie, as even though she's been like, yeah, like I plan on playing my shot in the dark. Like I'm like, nah, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you're
laying it on thick. I was like, I'm going home. Nope, that's what's happening, Jeff. It's the 3, and I'm like, it just confirmed everything, that whole edit of the episode. So I was like, okay.
And then when JD, poor sweet JD, was like, just got to make sure that we all do what we said that we're going to do. I'm just like, that wink means that that's the same as your like money tribal wink voted out. Like it's just like his reads are off. Poor guy.
Listen.
He's sweet though. I would like to see him come back in 10 years to see like how he can grow as a player because he's entertaining and I love that he loves the game, but he's not great at it yet. So yeah, we get as soon as I see the Jeannie vote come up first, I was like, okay, well that's the misdirect here. Like Jeannie's not gonna have any more votes. Yeah, you knew it was his because they showed his the whole time. He was the only vote that we saw. And I was like, if Jeannie's is being pulled first, that means that whoever else is the other vote is going to be going out. And it said JD, and I'm like, he's done. Like he's done. And he was. They all decided to vote out JD. And he was actually blindsided. I was like, how? It was so clear.
And then he was like, the reason why. I was like,
okay, Kylan.
I felt like he was like being broken up with. And he was just like, is there a reason why you don't like me? Like, I felt bad.
But there is, of course, there's a reason you're being voted out.
When you're too young, like, you don't get that, like, bud, man, like, we just outplayed you. Like, no other reason why other than the fact that we could get you out without it being that big of a deal. Like, that hard. It wasn't that hard. It was pretty easy. I got you out and I got your vote pretty easily. Like, she doesn't even work that hard for it.
Honestly, I think she just wanted, the reason why he left was because he had some stuff going on, and she realized probably that he could turn on me and take me out if he really wanted to, and he's smart enough. So let me keep this vote. She mentioned it earlier, but I really do think that's probably the deciding factor. And then Jeannie, who has nothing, will just be even more loyal to us. I mean, I'm sure he would have been as well, but he has things that he can play with where she doesn't, and I could gain stuff. So it's the move for Shan for sure.
It is. Laura says that my Robin Hood view. Okay, I can see that. It was a good game move. Yes. I mean, I think because I don't think anybody knows that she has his vote other than Ricard right now. And so this is good for them if there comes a merge. Like, they know how to keep their mouth quiet about these things. And so it's potential that it could be used to their benefit. And if Shan was worried that potentially JD could make a flip with this vote, and he's kind of doesn't act completely rationally, he does keep things from her, I could see her just wanting to get rid of that possibility. Like, you kind of know where Jeannie's going to go, and she seems to be just a number. I don't see her doing that much maneuvering and strategizing. So I feel like she would be an easier person to have in the fold just because they're a little bit more predictable. So I think it was the right move.
And she might be viewed as more of a threat over... Actually, no. I would think that maybe... I think JD would have an easier time trying to infiltrate another tribe or another young alliance or throw his personality out there and try and hold on a little longer than maybe Jeannie will. They might look at Jeannie and say, oh, she's a beast. She's really strong. Let's take her out over measly little Shan.
Maybe, but also like she might go and be like blah, 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 and tell everything about Shan though. So I would be worried about Jeannie a little bit. She needs to go next if they can get rid of her. And then they might be able to just like, we only have 2 people on our tribe and just kind of fade to the background. That's probably what they want to do. So Adrian says, okay, let's compare Lyanna and JD's way of playing the game so far. They both are kind of emotional and want to do the right thing in the game, it seems.
Well, they're both young, so I think that's why we're saying it. They're both the same age, right? But like, she is more mature than he is, and she's able to kind of like get it together. And I mean, women are more mature faster, right? Isn't that nothing?
Yeah. Definitely, she seems she is older than him, I think, by like a year or 2. But regardless, she seems to be a little bit more mature than he is, and not standing out in a way that makes people want to target her. So I do feel that she's playing a better game for somebody being around the same age. He seems a lot younger.
And she's in a solid alliance since episode 1, since day 1.
She's 20 and he's how old?
I thought he was 22. He's 20. Yeah, they're the same age. They're the same age.
So yeah, women definitely are usually mature more quickly, and so it seems that she is more mature and is playing a better game than he did. I just opened my Instagram and this article of Larry DX popped up. I literally shook. Oh my God. Yes, we talked about this jelly donut at the very beginning. Jojo spoiled this for me. Yes, apparently that they are an item. They're dating.
And Claire's pregnant.
Interesting.
Kidding. She's not.
That's not true. Oh yeah. So Dolores, did you hear what we said now?
US Weekly. US Weekly has all the info and the photos.
Who boils fish? I don't boil fish personally, unless I'm making some sort of soup. But boiled fish will get rid of all the any bacteria. Yes, Dolores, it is a thing. Claire and DX. How tall is DX? I want to see them stand side by side because she's a tall lady. I feel so bad for Heather. Yes, but she's going to be okay, according to Jojo. Also, Tiffany and Lyanna killed it in the challenge. Lyanna is a workhorse in these challenges. Yes, that's another thing too. Lyanna is understated and just performs well. JD was overstated and didn't perform well. So that's another thing. So I don't think Heather is necessarily bad at challenges. That challenge just wasn't for her. True.
I don't know that she's necessarily good at challenges either.
Yeah, I can't. We haven't seen her do enough of them.
Exactly. She's always sitting out. Jojo showed us the picture before. Yes, Heather broke our hearts. I totally think she looks like Jennifer Coolidge as well. That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, imagine Jennifer Coolidge was actually on Survivor. That would be
maybe
hilarious.
Celebrity Big Brother. Fingers crossed.
I mean, I don't think we'd ever get that. That's too lucky.
I wish.
Yes, Adrian. I think she did land all of her balls that she was doing. I think she did 3 out of 4. I think somebody did the other one. Any other comments here? Do you guys have anything else to say about this episode while I scroll through to see if there's anything we want to chat about before we say sayonara?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Even losing one of my draft picks, I was okay with it because I was like dead man walking with JD because I was like, it's going to happen sooner or later. He was like every moment, every episode was just, I was like, is it this time?
I do love that there's 5 men and 8 women left in the game. That gives me a lot of hope for a female winner this season. Fingers crossed.
It would be very delightful that we've got a female winner this season. Name Chantele. Wouldn't that be nice?
Jeannie wins.
Erica better thank Nasir after this episode. Absolutely. Nasir saved Erica, most likely. Because I think that Nasir would have been willing. Like he seems like an anybody but me type player, at least at this stage. So I think that he could have been convinced. So Dolores was home with my starter husband, and I saw Richard Hatch, and I thought that he looks interesting. I bet he's going to go far. Amazing. So you were able to realize that he was going to be the winner.
Write that $1 million check.
Jojo, Dolores would cast you.
Perfect.
So would,
Thanks,
so
Dolores.
would I.
Thanks.
With your starter husband? Did I hear that? I was just
That's what she said. Hi, Glenda. Hey, I was watching your challenge review from last night and totally missed this alert. JD definitely got played last night. I low-key feel bad. Yeah, I do feel bad. He got played hard. But it's also because he's too young, and that's why we feel bad about it. Because if he was like a little bit older, it wouldn't have happened. So,
and now he'll gain that perspective. I wonder if they'll talk about that, that he was talking about with Jeff, about like removing himself from it and really kind of seeing things from an outsider's perspective.
Yes, JD reminds all of us of our teenage grandchildren, friends, little niece, nephews, all of the above. He seems very young. Also, I just saw an article saying that JD actually didn't want to work with Shannon Ricard. He was just using them as temporary terms. Okay, well, then he did that very ineffectively, and he chose the wrong people to be using. He went to Jeannie to try to flip the game by voting Ricard out. Well, he said, so was that after that he decided to change his intention for that conversation? Because like he should have used his vote, and like you said, Jonathan, and voted Ricard out.
Yep.
And then at least drawing that line there in the revote, what would happen? It would have been JD versus Ricard. They wouldn't have voted. It would have been a stalemate again. And I don't think that Shan would have taken the risk of going to Rocks.
What revote? It would have been three for like if Jeannie wanted to vote with the other two and he could use both his votes and he would still
be 3-2.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because you're taking away a vote. No, it'd be 3-1 even. Sorry.
What do you mean you're taking away a vote?
Because it's a steal a vote. So
Steal a vote was gone. His was an extra vote. Steal a vote was Brad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, never mind. But I feel like Shan's paranoia and his instincts on trying to work with her and Ricard basically changed his mind. Yeah, so he got outplayed.
Yep.
Sorry, babe. I have never heard of a trike either, but I'm in Florida. Maybe we do things differently here. A trike? We're in a Mandela effect.
It was in my head somewhere. I knew that's what it was, so it's a thing.
But as a nickname, not as like a real thing.
It's a weird. I was definitely like, why the K? Like, why minus the? Yeah.
So who has Shan on their draft? Because I feel like you have a winner's pick. Who, me?
Yes, you.
Who, me?
You got
I have Erica, though. I'm like, ugh.
No,
Wait, right? I have Deshawn, Erica, and Shan. Is that who I have?
I think so, yeah. That's great.
I have Danny and Sydney left.
I mean, Danny's a good pick. Sydney, I'm worried for her, of course.
Yeah.
But she might get protected by not being... Well, no, she's going to be strong. I can see her winning some of those individuals.
You have Tiffany and Heather and who?
That's it.
And Brad. Bye, Brad.
Okay. So we all. Chantele has. Who did you say?
I'm gonna pull it up. Let's pull it up.
Most of the players eliminated, we didn't even choose for the draft.
And I think that's really shows that we know what we're talking about. Yeah. And Jeannie really should have kind of gone this episode, but it's because of that vote that I think that made Shan want that. And so if that vote wasn't around, I think Jeannie would have gone.
Okay, you can move JD. Bye.
Oh, right. Sorry, let's go. Okay, where are you?
Bye, JD.
Who did Phil lose?
Sarah.
Sarah, remember first?
Oh, right.
I mean, I'm happy with who I still have left. Oh, Xander.
All three.
I don't have Shan. Not on this draft. I'm gonna have Shan on another draft.
Who has Shan? Phil. Phil has Shan. Oh, amazing. Good choice.
Is he gonna win 2 in a row? No.
He could. It's very possible. But Heather's gonna win, so.
Heather's not winning. I mean, love you, Jojo, but I just don't see that.
If she does, I'm actually gonna piss my pants laughing.
Yeah, please.
I'll die.
We've just been coming for you for
I will die. And then Tiffany wins. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Yep, for sure.
Heather and Tiffany.
Final 2
I mean,
this year.
I could see them in the final 2 or 3. I could see them drag there. Well, it's been a slice, guys. Let's see. Also, 4 to 5 pre-mergers have been men so far. So for Sarah, if the merge is in the next 2 weeks and a man gets voted out next, that we might have the most men being voted out pre-merge. Second time, though, we just had this happen in Big Brother, and we still had a final 2 of 2 dudes. So anything can happen. But I do like the odds of this better. Hopefully, because we don't have the cookout to deal with where it became even again.
Yep.
So Jojo, if Heather wins, that is a true blindside to the audience.
Lots of show left.
That's
all I can say.
Game.
Well, love you guys. Thank you for popping in and chatting about this episode and chatting a little bit early. I'm going to be going live right now with Taryn to do this stock watch for this episode of Survivor. So if you guys want to tune into that on Rob as a podcast, I will be there in 7 minutes. Do you guys have anything you want to plug right now before we say bye-bye?
I'm going to unplug my computer. That's about it.
Okay, unplug your computer, subscribe, like this video if you're watching this after the live, and tell us in the comments, what is the percentage of a chance that Heather has to win this entire game?
Commenting right now.
And you know what a trike is.
And do you know what a trike is? Yes. Is that a thing, or is it a Mandela effect that it's like a new word they decide to bring into this dimension? I need to know those things. Please comment. Thank you, Dolores, and everybody in the chat for being here. I will definitely be around next week to talk to you a little bit more about this season. But join me on Rob as a podcast with Taryn in just like about 5 minutes. Bye.
Bye.